Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois. John Dickerson is off tonight. We begin here with high anxiety. Most Americans believe they are losing the battle against inflation. In a new CBS News poll, only 24% told us their incomes are keeping up with rising prices. 76% said they are not. And optimism about the future is falling. Last month, a third of Americans said they expect the economy next year to be booming. Since then, that number has fallen 5 points, and the number of Americans who believe we will be in a recession next year is up 5 points to 28%. Skyler Henry is in rural Georgia tonight, where, like many other parts of the country, people are struggling to make ends meet. Skyler?
And Maurice, we are in Butts County, Georgia, where the median income is a little more than $59,000 as it relates to household income. After speaking with some of the folks here today, one thing is for certain. Everyone is concerned about where their money is going these days. In Jackson, Georgia, a small town an hour south of Atlanta, diners at Fresh Air Barbecue, a family-owned restaurant nearly a century old, can feast on a chopped pork sandwich for only $4.
Would you like a drink? Yes.
A bargain for customers like Barbara Hawk, who is living on a fixed income and watching every dollar.
You cut down on groceries. I go through the ads each week and see what's on sale each place. Sometimes I may go to 3 different grocery stores just to get stuff that's on sale.
And we've seen the headlines, the eggs.
Oh yeah, I hadn't bought any eggs.
A new CBS News poll finds the biggest economic concern among Americans who feel they're not doing well is the price of food and services. Gas prices are second at 70%, and housing prices at 57%. 40% of Americans feel bad about their own financial situation. Frivolous spending is out of the question for Chrissy Burford, a part-timer at Fresh Air Barbecue. Burford says she and her husband are doing okay, living on their pensions and his Social Security, but the added income comes in handy.
It allows us to have extra money each month to help pay for if we want to take a trip or we need new tires or,
Quite literally the rainy day fund.
Right.
Do you notice costs going up in other places, grocery store, gas, anything like that?
Yes, It's been that way for a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's like, it's a good thing that you're here.
Yes.
Now you can
Yes.
move your money around a little bit more, yeah?
Exactly.
One of the other things adding to the anxiety of those here in Georgia, cuts to federal jobs, especially those that the Department of Health and Human Services announced today. Those proposed cuts would eliminate some 20,000 positions, including 2,400 at the CDC up the road in Atlanta.
Skyler Henry in Jackson, Georgia. Thanks so much. We want to dig deeper into the economic numbers now with Anthony Salvanto. He's in charge of our CBS News polling, and Kelly O'Grady, correspondent for CBS News Money Watch. Good to see you both. So, Anthony, let's start with how people are feeling about the economy, their income, and inflation here.
I'll start off. People continue to rate the economy is doing badly. Most people say it is, but it's the reason for that, Maurice. And they say it is prices. It is inflation. When we follow up and ask them why, they give that rating, and that's been the case for years. That's been the case since the pandemic.
Kelly, what's behind those numbers?
Well, the data, because consumers feel that their wages aren't rising as fast as inflation, and they're right. Inflation, you go back to January 2021, right before it kicked off, right?
Pandemic?
Yep, pandemic. Prices have risen cumulatively 22% versus now. Wages, only 20%. That gap is why they feel it.
That math doesn't work. What about their retirement savings, Anthony? What are they saying about that?
Right, so looking more long term, you find 7 in 10 say that they're anxious about having enough money for retirement. Why is that? It ties, number one, into buying and spending power, because if you can't save money, you can't save for retirement. And second, we've seen the market volatility now, and people who have money invested in the stock market also may be feeling anxious.
You hit on it with volatility and uncertainty, right, Kelly?
Absolutely. I mean, the S&P 500, it's down 3% year to date. A lot of retirement funds are invested in the S&P 500, and that's where you see some of that anxiety.
This kind of sentiment, the risk of where could this all lead? It's not a good place.
Well, look, consumers may not be right, but how they feel impacts how they spend. Spending is 2/3 of GDP, and if you got 2 negative quarters of that, the risk is a recession.
Okay. Kelly, Anthony, thank you both so much.